Today on the Blazers Are Cool show, Brad and I are going to give our final predictions, including our record predictions, where we think the Blazers will finish in the win and loss column this year. We'll do those and a handful of others, and then make sure to stick around to the very end because I put some real life stakes on the line for whether or not I think we hit our win total. You're going to want to see what the bet is at the end of the show. The other thing is that since we recorded this at the end of last week, we don't get to mention the Tamani or Shaden extensions, but just know that the both of us are extremely happy with both those contracts, as I'm sure all of you are. If you want to hear a couple more thoughts from me, I have an article linked in the description below. You can check that out. But without further ado, let's get into the Portland Trail Blazers record predictions for the 2025-2026 season. Brad, it's finally time to give people some firm predictions, some firm takes that they can hang on to and either hold over our heads and bash us for, or that we can hold over their heads and say, look at us, we know everything, we know what we're talking about. We have a couple of those for you today, as well as a prediction of the record of the Portland Trail Blazers for 25-26. How are you thinking that this season is going to go for the Blazers?
I think I can actually come out and confidently say this is taking a lot of time, a lot of trepidation on my part. I think the Blazers are going to win more games than they're going to lose. When you look at last season that we won 36 games, you have to imagine that we're going to build off of that for one. But the main reason I can confidently say that we're going to win more games than we're going to lose, that we're going to be a winning team, at worst a 41, at absolute worst 40-win team, is because of something that I think we can universally agree on, or maybe not, is that I think we're going to be a top 5 defense in the NBA.
Yeah.
So before I get to what I actually think the record is going to be, I want to lay that out there. We're going to be a top 5 defense in the NBA. In the second half of the season last year, we had the third best defense in the NBA. We are 0.3 away from having the best defense in the NBA. And that is a team that replaced Anthony Simons with arguably the best perimeter point guard defender of all time in Jrue Holiday. So you also have to imagine that we're probably going to just, based on first half of the season competition, regress slightly because of that. But I think that regression is equaled out by getting Jrue Holiday on this team. So I can confidently say that we're going to be a top 5 defense in the NBA, a team that has an improving Donovan Clingan, a team that has a reigning All-NBA defender in Chimani Kamara, as well as Matisse Thybulle, who's going to be fully healthy, as well as hopefully fully healthy.
Hopefully, please.
But healthier than last year. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Healthier than last year. I hope. You know what I mean? I hope. It's not looking too good this preseason, but I would assume so. A team that even is going to have a guy like Blake Wesley coming off the bench. A guy who, with all his offensive struggles that we've seen, he is a dog on defense. And he is going to make our defense off the bench better. We're a team that had a top 3 defense in the second half of the season who I thought unequivocally improved. Unequivocally improved. And when you look at historically how a top 5 defense in the NBA plays, or even a top 10, I think everyone can agree we're going to be a top 10 defense. I don't see a world, barring injury, something god-awful happening, that we're not top 10. But I can very confidently say we're top 5. In the last decade, the worst team in the NBA to have a top 5 defense was the 2020, I think, Chicago Bulls, and they won 40 games. I think we have you look at that roster, we have a better defense than that team. We have a better roster build defensively with that team. We're coming off a better defensive season than that team ever had. I think we're a top 5 defense, and because of that, just historically speaking, top 5 defenses win at least half of their games in the NBA. I do think we're going to be, because also top 5 defenses usually win championships. So it's, you could take a lot from that stat. But when you look at how low the bar is for having a top 5 defense, it's a winning team or right in the middle, which is why I think worst case scenario, we win 4 more games than last year, just because regular season defense is so important. And we have on paper and in practice, as we saw last year, one of the most impressive defenses in the NBA. to me, you can't have a top 5 defense, statistically and historically speaking, and not be a winning team.
I completely agree with all of that. I don't know if you listened to a Locked On Blazers episode where Mike Richmond was going into this, but I think
I refuse to listen to our competition. I'm kidding. I did. I do listen to it.
I'm going to totally butcher the exact numbers, so don't cite me on this or don't hate me, Mike, but it was something like 70 of the last 71 teams to have a top 10 defense made the playoffs.
What I learned by looking back at the top 10 defenses over the last 5 seasons. So that's like the post-bubble seasons, right? The bubble's weird. I don't want to include that season, and going back any further and like omitting the bubble seems weird. So we're just going to do the last 5 seasons. So since the 2020-2021 season, that short season that started in December, 72 games. Since then, there's been 50 top 10 defenses, right? 5 seasons, 10 teams, 50 top 10 defenses. 49 teams with a top 10 defense have made the play-in. 49 teams with a top 10 defense over the past 5 seasons have made the play-in. And the Blazers have a path to being a top 5 defense.
Oh, did you already have this take?
Yeah. Well, it was very similar. Yeah, but you had it first without knowing.
I didn't see that. That's a bummer.
We're all seeing it, right? I'm just using that to back it up. And we're not even talking about making the playoffs. We're essentially talking about making the play-in.
Yes.
With the record that you laid out there of being above 500. It's a play-in team. Even in the West, that is so tough this year. It's like the West is tough every
year.
And the West is better than the East every single year. There's no like waiting till the West gets bad. Okay.
Exactly.
There's so many pundits. I've listened to all these podcasts. Every podcast that come out, I just go right to the Blazers part and I listen to it.
Me too.
And all of them just focus on the offense. And then the defense is an aside.
We're not talking about winning a championship.
We're talking about winning.
Offense loses you games once you make the playoffs. We're talking about making the play-in or getting into the playoffs. A top 5 and top 10 defense, especially top 5. I didn't look at the top 10. I did sort of, but it started to disprove my point a tiny bit too much. Where I was like, ooh, 5 teams have missed the playoffs in the last 15 years of the top 10 defense? I don't want to use that stat.
Right.
1 in the last decade with a top 5 defense has missed the playoffs and won 40 games, which would absolutely be a play-in spot, I think.
Right. I mean, there was the one year that the Warriors didn't make it with like 43 wins or something like that, which was crazy. So we could be in that realm. Yes, the West is tough, but it's pretty safe to say that the floor of this team feels pretty high because we're really good at one half of the game of basketball. To look at the other side, because that's the way you can poo-poo the season and be like, we're going to be terrible. Who's going to score? Our offense is going to be putrid. Our shooting is really bad. Those are all very, very, very valid points. The reason why I believe in the offense or that I believe things can work out is because I think this is going to be one of, if not the best rebounding teams in the NBA this season.
That was my prediction too.
We have the best offensive rebounder in basketball in Donovan Clingan. I will start to stand on this hill now because I firmly believe that by the end of the season, that will be the case. Steven Adams can kiss his ass. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Last year, we were second in offensive rebounds already. Tumani's an awesome rebounder. Denny is an awesome rebounder. Drew can definitely go get in there and get rebounds. Shaden has the highest vertical in the league. Scoot seems like he's willing to go get every rebound. Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams, Chris Murray. We are so good at getting the ball after a miss. And what that does means that we will shoot more than you shoot. So if we shoot worse, if we just get more shots to make up for it, we can compete. So exactly. I understand it's going to look ugly a lot, but we already saw a lot this preseason, and a lot of it had to do with Clingan, that we were just getting more shots back. And what that does, that'll just build more confidence, and I think we can build off that, and we can rely on it night in, night out. Those are two things I think we can stand on very firmly is our
It's defense, the focal point of our offense.
Defense and rebounding. It's just getting more shots than you and stopping your shots. And then there's nights where we'll get on fire and we can beat anyone. So obviously nights where we'll be cold, but I think it'll be harder for a bad team to beat us because of those other things.
Absolutely.
So that's why I believe in our offense more than I think other people think, because I'm predicting that we will have the most offensive rebounds in the league.
Agreed.
And I'm predicting that we will be a top 5 rebounding team overall, because we were already second in the former last year, and I think 7th in the latter.
I think in the second half of the season last year, we were 4th in rebounding total.
Sure.
So in the second half of the season last year, we were 4th in rebounding. I didn't check what we were in offensive rebounding, but I'm assuming second or first.
I think the Rockets had it pretty firmly, so I would be surprised if we were higher
Probably
at any point,
second.
but second over the course of the entire season.
You are 100% right, which is so interesting about how people talk about this team. I would say 90% of people would be like, oh yeah, the Blazers are going to have a top 10 defense. Oh yeah, the Blazers are going to be a top 10 rebounding team. And I think 50 to 75% of people are like, oh yeah, the Blazers will have a top 5 defense. The Blazers will be a top 5 rebounding team. But then 10% of people are like, yeah, the Blazers will have a winning record.
Yeah.
That's not adding up. We would have to be the anomaly to end all anomalies to be a top 10 or 5 rebounding team or a top 10 and 5 defensive team and not be a winning team. Those are unbelievably important things, because absolutely you're right. Our offense could potentially very much struggle in the traditional way of scoring on first opportunity. Running sets and having, great playmakers who create shots for themselves and others, having a good offense that way. But we're kind of like the anti-Charlotte Hornets of last year, where the Hornets were doing the exact opposite of what we were doing, which was no defense, no rebounding, and just taking as many threes, having a lot of offensive talent on that team, and they were god awful. Their offense sucked, because when you play young guys who are super offensive minded and talented, usually they suck. And it's the exact opposite thing, where if you have a bunch of young guys who are great defenders, great rebounders, you're competitive. Yeah. And we're going to have a top 5 rebounding team and a top 5 defensive team in the NBA. It would be ridiculous to assume that that's not a winning team. And it's so funny that people agree with the pieces, but do not agree. They agree with the slices, but not the whole pie.
Oh, there you go.
I know. See how I almost went puzzle again.
We're not using puzzle anymore. We're done
no
with
more puzzle. We're on the pie now. It's all pie analogies. With that comes this. I believe that we're going to have 2 All-NBA defenders.
Wow.
I really do believe that. I don't really believe it, because you saw the pain it took me to say it out. But I believe it's absolutely possible. And I believe those 2 are going to be Tumani and Klingon. I think we're going to be a team that, because a lot of, awards are kind of hype based. If we have a winning record, which we will, we're in the play-in, which we will be in. That's some like pretty good hype to get some second team votes for Donovan Klingon and some repeat votes for Tumani Kamara. You never know. Thibault got 2 All-NBA defensive awards, playing 20 minutes a game.
Drew's back.
Yeah, Drew Holiday's back. Absolutely, dude. If we have a top 5 defense, that's something that voters are going to be like, oh, it's the addition of Drew Holiday, which will be true, not as much as people think.
Yeah.
But he could absolutely get some second team votes. Another thing, kind of a critique prediction, is I don't think we're going to be top 10 in pace. I do not. That's something that we have supposedly worked on a lot, something that we have kind of promised. I don't buy it. And it's not because we don't have the guys to do it. I don't think the offense is going to be connected enough to where we feel comfortable running at that pace. And I think we're actually going to be happy with how much Drew helps us in the half court. I think we're not going to be as fast as we think, but I also think that we're going to be a little better in the half court than people think, because of Drew Holiday being just such a good floor setter.
I have one prediction that builds off that, because for those of you who may remember me saying I predict Drew to have 9 points per game, and Brad saying that was blasphemous.
You fucking idiot. Yeah.
I think I have come full circle, because I read a great article today about how Drew's actually happy to be here, despite
how awesome was that?
Despite the way that Celtics media tried to trash him and us on the way out. and say how pissed he was to be leaving the great Boston Celtics organization. That article had in it a spot about how Drew is anticipating that he's going to be used more on offense. That hammered home for me the fact that I've been thinking about that 9 points per game thing since I said it. Going the opposite route. And despite the fact that we did a prediction video, I think Drew and, as an aside, Tumani will both average 15 points per game.
That's awesome.
Tumani from threes and Drew from being creative. I don't know where the other points fall away from. I don't know if that detracts from anyone else, but I'm here to stand on that hill, and I believe that the both of them can get there this season.
Can I say something? We were first in pace during the preseason officially.
Really?
Yeah.
You looked it up after making your take?
I thought, you know what?
I
It didn't feel, because that's what I had prepared.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right coming out.
I think Blake Wesley has a lot to do with that, to be honest.
I think he was the sole reason for that.
I think we'll go back into our old ways a little bit.
I think so too. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so here, just to lay out, these are my predictions for the season. Top 5 defense, top 5 rebounding, outside the top 10 in pace. I think we are more impressed with Shaedon Sharp's defensive improvements than we are with his offensive improvements. I think that Scoot Henderson plays a vital role when he comes back and shows that he's going to be a super important part of this team. I believe that Jeremy Grant is also going to show that he's a vital part of this team, and we will not trade him by the deadline. I don't think we really make any trades at the deadline. I think all of the guys that we have hope for are going to show just enough that there is going to be no reason to trade them for anyone like a Markkanen or anyone like that unless things go wrong, which I do not expect him to go wrong. I think we see Rob Williams play less than 20 games this season. I think we see Denny have some serious all-star discussions. I think that Hansen proves to be the exact type of backup that we want to Klingon. However, Klingon more than solidifies his spot as our starter. Lastly, smaller one, I think Blake Wesley is someone that we are very, very happy to have on the team, and someone who is going to be the perfect third string point guard on this team. Those are my predictions for this season.
Those are Brad's rapid fire predictions.
Yes.
Brought to you by Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready to give me your record prediction and why you think it's exactly that many wins?
I think we win 44 games this season.
Mm.
I just don't think that there's a team in NBA history that can be top 5 or top 10 in defense or top 5 and top 10 in rebounding and not be a winning basketball team. I think we're going to get a lot of the hard-fought wins against I think we're going to get a couple hard-fought wins against the good teams, and I think we're going to clearly set ourselves apart from the bad teams. And half the teams are bad.
Yeah.
And I think we're right in that, going to be in that middle, which is a great place to be for one of the youngest teams in the NBA.
I totally feel that.
Yeah.
What seed do you think 44 and 38 gets us?
That's a really good question. That's hard to really say for sure. I think that we are at worst 9th. I think we are at best, if everything goes miraculously, 6th. I think we're realistically at 8.
At 8, at 44 and 38, the 8th seed.
I have kind of been I'm so confident in this team, but Thunder are going to be better than us. The Rockets are going to be better than us. The Lakers are probably going to be better than us, but that you never know because of LeBron's health and how much DeAndre Ayton can ruin a basketball team. The Nuggets are probably going to be better than us. I think we're going to be better than the Clippers. Timberwolves are probably going to be better than us. Warriors are probably going to be better than us, and I think we're going to be better than the Grizzlies. I think we're going to be better than the Kings. I think we're going to be better than the Mavericks. I think we're going to be better than the Suns. I think Spurs and us are going to be pretty close. The Spurs are a weird team. If everything goes perfectly right for them, I think they could win a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if things don't go right, they could be kind of where we are.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be better than the Pelicans. We're going to be better than the Jazz. So that puts us, at worst 9th if we're better than all those probablys, because you have to remember every year there's 2 teams like the Suns last year.
Just fall apart.
Yeah, there's always teams that just end up sucking and you didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I am supremely confident that we will be better than one of the Warriors, Lakers, or Clippers. One of those
Agreed.
teams is going to completely fall off. It looks
I
like
think
the
it's gonna be the
leading
Clippers.
candidate is Clippers is a good one for age and the Kawhi thing. The Warriors are one injury away from being bad, and that team is those are really old
Ancient.
teams. One of them
Yeah.
is not going to figure it out. So
Yeah.
they're all two of them are very likely going to be better than us. But I can't see a world where all three have a perfect enough season to where they're better than we are.
That's exactly right. And that's also, hoping that we also stay healthy.
Yeah, right.
This
I think
is all
that's
in like if we stay healthy.
yeah. Which you have
It's true
to
for any team in the NBA.
right. Which the biggest problem with all of this is that we are starting the season unhealthly. But
Yeah,
precautionarily, so it'll be fine. It's all gonna be fine.
I'm actually not worried about it. I think we're going to be, except for Rob Will,
Yeah.
sadly.
I'll tell you how I came to my conclusions. I sat
Mhm.
down before this and I looked at the schedule and I pulled up an Excel spreadsheet and I did every game just real quick in my head, win or loss.
Mhm.
So I did it the first time
Yeah.
and it was feeling pretty optimistic because I've been indulging in Blazer takes and gassing up the team and believing all off season, right? So it feels like this first one was going to be optimistic. So I did it and I went through the whole season and I got to 46-36.
Nice.
So then I did it again and I
Mhm.
said, let me be conservative. Let me do this with the thought process of some close ones, let's notch a lot more of those to losses. I did it. I got 42-40.
Nice.
And then I went to a bar to watch the Mariners game, was watching the Blazer preseason game on my phone. We just blew it to the Jazz. I said, let me do it one more time. And I feel like I'm feeling pretty sour after that game. After the conservative take, after the way
Sure.
we just fumbled that game with 4 of our best players in against the Jazz C team and lost. And I did it, and I got 43-39.
That's awesome.
And so I'm going to go with 43-39.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Because I truly...
What did I say?
You said 40. You're 44-38, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's right. That sounds right.
43-39. So the official Blazers are cool over under for wins is 43.5.
Do you remember what I predicted last year?
I think it was probably something around 36, right?
It was 35.
It was 35.
We got 36. So
Just
we
right
are,
on.
and they called me a fool. By they, I mean the voices in my head.
Yeah.
Called me a fool.
The final thing I want to do is that because I think our over under total is true. I think it's truly ridiculous, but it's crazy to say. Here's the thing: is I feel like over under totals bet by Vegas, everyone feels the over because there have to be some teams who just completely fall off and injuries just take them out. So what I'm about to say is coming with inherent risk, despite everything we've just talked about. But I am ready to do this. I am so supremely confident that we will win more than 34 games. That's our win total, 34.5 right now. Open to 33.5. I kind of want to go with that one, but I will go with 34.5. I'm so supremely confident that we will win 35 or more games. If we do not hit that mark, I will buy a DeAndre Ayton Lakers jersey. And I will wear it for a month.
Oh, let's go, dude.
And I work from home for my job. I have a life to where I can actually do this. So I'm sticking with this. I will wear it.
You're saying I'm a big enough loser that I can make this work.
Exactly. It's exactly what I'm trying to say to you guys. I'm not acting like this is some big, like, overblown promise or whatever, and then I'm going to back off.
You can make this
because
work.
I got to go to work. I will wear it every day for a month. I will wear it. I will have to have it on if I have any shirt on. That is the...
Nice.
I'm not having no sex with the DeAndre Ayton Lakers jersey on.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. But anytime I have a shirt on, one of those shirts at least has to be a DeAndre Ayton jersey. For a month, I will do that if the Portland Trail Blazers do not win 35 games.
This is my first time hearing of
you
this.
You have my word.
Yes.
Okay?
And I will not do that, but I will watch, enjoy, as it's the only thing that will make, if this season collapses, it's the only thing that's going to make it worthwhile. I think you're technically doing that for me because you know how miserable I am when the Blazers play bad. Yeah. Now I'll have something to look forward to.
I'm doing it for everyone. So that someone out there feels joy if the Blazers go 34-48 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Can I lead with one more thing of hope? Even if things go poorly this season And even better yet, if things go great, I just want us to remember that we have those Bucks picks coming.
Yeah.
And when we see that Giannis, if we suck this year, follow Giannis leaving
Yeah.
and just know that we are going to reap the benefits of that. That even if this season doesn't go well, things are still looking good because of those delicious Bucks picks. It's all I think about is the fact that we're about to have a breakout season and then have 2 lottery picks in the last 5 seasons while we're going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really – people need to think about that.
Yeah. There's a lot to be excited about. And this season kind of doesn't have any pressure. We could be bad and everyone could be like, whatever, we'll get another high draft pick, let's try again, and we'll reshuffle the deck, right?
Yeah, dude, certain like individual players have pressure, but like even if we're not good this year, there's still so much to look forward to.
Yeah. So whatever it may be, don't get too caught up and too angry about anything. I mean, we will. I'll definitely be raging at some games if they go like the way they did tonight against the Jazz. Don't you worry about it.
All I do is rage when we lose. I'm not happy when we lose.
But that's what being a fan is about. Yeah. And being a Blazer fan for right now is about being happy and optimistic. And so that's what we've chosen to do with our record predictions.
Yes.
Definitely happy and definitely optimistic. And if you guys want to bookmark this and we don't hit those numbers, by all means, let us have it. But just know that if the Blazers finish 43-39 or 44-38 this year, you know who stood on their ground and predicted it from the very beginning.
That's exactly right.
Let us know your guys' predictions in the comments. We would really love to see some more and hear some hot ones. Send us your juiciest one and as well as your record prediction. We'll read them all and respond. We appreciate you guys listening to us all off season. It's been a fun time continuing to cover the team, but I think we're very, very excited to have some games to talk about because that's going to make things a lot more fun and a lot more tangible. So we're excited. And no doubt in my mind that the Blazers are cool.
Blazers are cool.
We'll see you guys after Wednesday. We'll see you guys with a Blazer game to talk about. So stay tuned. Later.